anytime you hear this song, you know we're about to celebrate another amazing Ghanaian. 18 minutes past 7 p.m. locked on to Joy 99.7 FM. You're welcome to Personality Profile. My name is Sammy Forson, and tonight my guest is a focused goal-getter, a hard-working and very proactive and a self-motivated woman. She's a team player, she's strategic, she's a critical thinker, and she's a very sociable person as well. Now she has a passion for social equity, justice, with unique leadership, negotiation, advocacy, and mobilization skills. Well, she has functioned in various capacities. Talk of being a party communicator since 2003, NDC Manifesto Committee member. She was a polling agent back in 2008 during the elections as well. And in the 2009 transitional team, she played a role as the social sector subcommittee member. She also moved on to become the Deputy Minister for Water, Resource Works and Housing between 2009 and 2012. She also served as the Deputy Minister for Food and Agriculture in charge of livestock between 2013 and 2017. She was the Member of Parliament for Tano South constituency, Bron-Ahafo region between 2012 and 2016. And aside all of that, she's also a veterinary surgeon by profession. She currently is the National Women's Organizer of the NDC. In fact, she won the elections a couple of weeks ago. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to our Hall of Fame tonight, Dr. Hannah Louisa Biseo, right here on Personality Profile on Joy 99.7. Should I call you doctor or honorable?
Any of them.
Any of them should do.
Or you can call me Amadou. That also sounds.
Okay. Well, we are pleasured to have you right here on Personality Profile, and congratulations on the successful victory at the just recent elections, the national elections for the NDC. And how was it for you?
Well, first of all, I want to say good evening to your cherished listeners, and a special one to my women.
Yeah.
I think it was good. I enjoyed the campaign trail. I did it my way, the way I love it. I visited the women in their homes. I went constituency by constituency, village, city, town by city, town, village.
Wonderful.
Depending on where the woman lives. And sometimes you get there if it's during the day.
Yeah.
Some of them were either on their farms or in the market. But I enjoy going to them one-on-one. I was able to tour the entire country.
The entire country?
Yes, I did.
Wow, wonderful.
I did. And then there were days that I went like 2 days without sleeping and worked straight through. And it was good. And I have something on me that when I work and I'm tired, that is when I try to do something to re-energize.
Okay.
So I remember when we went to the northern region and we had done 24 hours without sleeping. So the next morning, around 6:37 a.m., I was in Kombongo, and I went to see the women's organizer. She had prepared some buffalo, some donuts.
Okay.
And we took some. So on our way to her house, we met a group of women.
Okay.
I think they were preparing cocoa because there was going to be a wedding. I was curious, so I asked questions. Then when we saw the women's organizer and I was coming back, I stood to ask them what they were doing. Then they explained. So I said, okay, if they had finished, I wanted some of the cocoa because we had worked throughout the night. And we're actually going to continue for the second day. So whilst we're waiting, they made this. Then immediately I heard the sound. I said, you know what, we are going to dance.
And you're also an amazing dancer. I saw some of your dancing
I
skills.
love to dance.
Oh, I see.
I love to dance. I mean, church, my pastor will tell you that anytime they are playing, I mean, when he's in the office and it's praise and worship, he says he always will tell the wife, or the wife will tell him, if Honorable is in church, if nobody's dancing, we know she will dance. Immediately I step in church, from the first music to the last, because that is the only thing I can do to praise God. There's nothing that I can do to say thank you to God Almighty. And so we got in there, started dancing, jumping. I watched the way they were dancing, and quickly I was able to pick up with them.
See.
And after that, the energy came back. And we got some cocoa and jumped in our vehicles, and we hit the road again, and did no sleep and work throughout the night. That was the time that I went into Bonkrugu, went deep in there.
All the four corners of the country.
Exactly. And so that is me. I loved it. I was able to finish and went round again to the 10 regions. This time grouped the women for them to vet me.
You really put in a lot of work.
Yes, I did, because you see, I wanted to prove to myself that I can do the job. And I don't have the need to come for a position if I can't work. There's no need to do that, because then it's like it's about you. It's not about me. It's about the party. So we are working. We are supposed to contest for certain positions. Is it just the position that you want? Is it some title of a name that you want, or you really want to work? So if I really want to work, then I needed to prove to myself that I can do the job. And the only way I can do this job is to go back down there where the constituency women organizers and their deputies are, where the branches are. So if I can do that during my campaign, then that is what I'm supposed to do after my campaign. Now I remember telling my campaign coordinator that, by the time we fight, if I've not done more than 50% of the country, of the 275 constituencies, I'm sorry, I'm not going to file. And he said he was very scared, because it was like, okay, what about if you've not been able to do it? He said you are not filing. Then it's going to be a blow to supporters, and he was going to be very discouraged.
Yeah.
But I told him that it's better I don't, when I know I can't do the work, than to go for the work and you not be able to do it. But I did it with such an ease, and I enjoy doing it. And so I did enjoy it. It was good. I took my message to the delegates. I was very focused, and gave them my vision, why I wanted to come work with them. After that, subjected myself to vetting. I asked them to vet me. I went a second round.
And what exactly was your vision, Honorable?
What I can tell you is that up to date, I've decided that the operational details of now is on my vision, our vision for the women's wing is not something that it will be detailed out, because it's something that we're going to use to work. But the only thing that I can say is that in the next few months, as we settle in as a political party, after we just came the new flag, the new neck, and things are finding at levels, we should expect to see a very strong and a vibrant women's wing, a women's wing that will be interesting to serve the party through that wing. A wing that is palpable, a wing that is felt, a wing that produces results, and a wing that faces challenges, and a wing that can push forward. I and mobilize and support sending out the party's message also to where it needs to get to. So I'm very excited, and I'm encouraged also, because I had the opportunity to meet I'll tell you about 98% of the women.
98% of the
exactly,
women.
because some of them, you may get that, then maybe it's either their deputies or the main. Some you could get all of them, because I never gave a prior notice. I always went to the constituency, and whenever I was in the constituency, then I'll call to find out the town, village where you are. So sometimes you may meet the deputy at one place, and maybe you may have to drive the next 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour, or 10 minutes, 20 minutes to meet maybe the main. Sometimes you meet the main before, depending on the location of where they live. And also sometimes some of them might have traveled, but then there was usually one of them. But there wasn't a case where you go and you don't meet any of them. Yeah.
So what would you say was your motivation behind, taking up this mantle upon yourself? Because you had some really stiff competition as well, before emerging as the women's organizer. What exactly was the motivation to go and stand for this position?
Service for the party. I think that I'm a servant of NDC. There are two entities that I always say that I'm a servant. I'm a servant of God because He created us.
Okay.
And there's nothing we can do, He needs from us than to just worship Him and let Him be God. And then I'm a servant of my political party because I believe that the NDC is a party that, when it's in power, you see a lot of things happening. That's where I believe in. So I'm just an activist, a servant of a political party. And I believe that anytime you love somebody and the person goes into a situation, either that are normal, that is when you should be there for that person. And so for me, when the party was in office, I had the opportunity to serve in various capacities. Before we came to office, I had the opportunity to also serve from the grassroots, do everything that I had to do.
So pretty much you did your homework.
Exactly. And so once we are in opposition, then I felt that the main motivation was to serve, also join and then add my quota.
Okay, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know that now that you are the women's organizer, what exactly are you going to do differently to ensure that the women's wing of the NDC would stand strong and win come 2020 elections?
I think that as I said earlier on, I've never seen a general going to war and displaying all their strategies out there.
Yeah, but you can probably touch on the surface. Let us know exactly what you do differently.
Well, I think that's what I said. I'm going to bring on board, not just me, myself and my two deputies. And we'll be having a women's working committee, national and then regional. Then we try and even send it down to make sure that the work is decentralized as much as possible. But I think that it's going to be a more vibrant women's wing. It will be involving, and everybody will come on board. And we are going to have a coordinated program.
Yeah.
A coordinated program, right from national to the branches, and it's going to flow through.
Okay.
And everybody's going to be active. There will not be room to lazy around. There will not be room to sit around. There will not be room to rest. In fact, in Akan, they say, once there's the head, you always wear the hat or the cap. So it's going to take a turn where every woman will see it as a duty to serve the party anywhere she finds herself.
Okay.
And it's going to take a form that every woman will feel relevant, every woman will feel recognized, acknowledged, every woman will feel that whatever she does, if even it's cleaning an area, that is serving, that is going to lead to the positive, gains of our political party. She will do that with a lot of dignity, a lot of dedication, a lot of love. But in all, we have quite some good programs. We have some good strategies that we're going to put in place, towards election 2020 and beyond.
Okay. Well, you have it all figured out, I want to believe. And one more time, let me congratulate you on winning the women's organizer. And good luck. And definitely, I know you will definitely deliver. Yes, you definitely deliver.
By the grace of God, I'm sure that the team, we are going to deliver.
Wonderful. All right, this personality profile right here on Joy 99.7 FM. If you have any questions for Honorable, you can send them through WhatsApp 0244340437. Now, we want to get to know you, without the political lens on you. I know you were born in Techimenshia in the Brona-Hafo region. What kind of upbringing did you have?
Well, first of all, I was born in Kumasi.
In Kumasi,
In
okay.
Kumfanochi Teaching Hospital.
Okay.
But I'm from Techimentia. My mom is from Techimentia. Daddy, and may he rest in peace of blessed memory. He's from Jumo.
Okay.
And Techimentia and Jumo, they are just like 2 miles away.
Oh, okay.
And I keep saying that I suspect that Mommy, those days that the roads were very, very bad, that we used to use the bone shakers.
Yeah.
You remember? Well, maybe you are the
Oh,
computer
no.
kind
No.
of baby. So maybe a latrogen baby.
I've had a ride in those cars before.
You did?
Trust me. Yes.
And did you ever ride in those the bigger ones?
The bigger ones.
The
Yes.
one that carried the car.
I love to explore, so I've done all.
You are sure?
I've done all.
It's called Tamishim. Do you understand what it is? It's like lift me and just
put
throw
me
me in.
Yes.
So I and those days, then the watonchinins, the watonchinins was the like bunch of cans that have been put together. Some kind of aluminium that they had put together. To fabricate or manufacture that vehicle. And anytime people traveled and vehicles broke down, the nearest homes, you see that the women will go in, ask for water, maybe to wash down, take care of their children. Those days, Ghanaians were more accommodating. We were nicer, These days, you cannot just walk to somebody's house and ask for those things. And so I kept telling Daddy that he should tell me. I suspect that one of those trips, Mommy's vehicle might have broken down, and she might have gone
he came to
into
her
that
help.
house for help, and then the result is an EBC. Because we are so close. And
I see.
Yes, you could walk. I remember I used to walk sometimes from Techimentia to Jumo because I lived with my mommy's elder sister.
Okay. Were you the only child?
No, I'm the first of 6.
Oh, first of 6?
Yes, I'm
okay.
the first of 6. We
I
have
see.
3 girls, 3 boys.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I'm the first of 6.
Wow.
But then mommy's sister came for me. We're in Akumadan, actually.
Okay.
My mom is a retired principal midwife. And she moved from village to village, town to town, because she had to work hard to take care of us. So she didn't like the bigger cities. First we're in Kumasi.
Okay.
And I know we went to Asamankasi, Kofiase, went to Kinkensu, went to places. Then we went from Kinkensu that went to Akumadan. So from Akumadan, there's a back road that you could actually walk, you get to Subriso.
Yeah.
Then you could get some car and get to Techimentia.
Okay.
So my mom and sister came for me to go and live with her. And I went through such a horrible treatment.
Really?
Yeah. So sometimes...
Were you maltreated?
I was maltreated as a child. But I think that time, I don't know if I saw it as maltreatment. I just saw it as the way she was. And so,
what were some of the things that were you were put through?
Okay. Those days we had lice. Now there are no lice in Ghana.
But we still have some. It depends on where you look.
It depends on where.
Where you look for them.
But those days, even if you were in the boarding school, you could get them.
Yeah.
Anywhere. The white eggs, and all that. And so if you had them really bad, then you could get a lot of sores.
Yes.
And I'm somebody who has a lot of hair. And thick hair.
I can see.
And so what she used to do, just shave me off, and then with the sauce, put the ginseng violet. But anytime I had those issues, I was treated like an outcast. And she had other children. I lived with her and the children. And then we go to the farm. Of course, you wake up at dawn, go to the stream, go fetch water, come sweep, do all the things you had to do. And that time I used to attend the LA, local authority, Roman Catholic primary school at Techimentia.
Yeah.
So you carry your little chair, walk to school. And anytime we came back, it's either I go to fetch firewood, then I had to boil the garden eggs and stuff ready for soup.
Okay.
Whenever it was done, you leave it on a warm, you remove the firewood from underneath it, just the heat. Then I had to arrange, angonomo.
Angwamo.
Angonomo is not angonomo.
Angwamo.
You don't know.
Okay, I know angwamo.
Angonomo is rice.
Okay.
Angonomo is what we use to package angonomo.
Oh, okay.
It's the green leaves.
Okay.
These days, there's a rice by the roadside that I've been buying these days. And anytime we go there, I ask them to package it in that green leaf for me.
Oh, I see.
I love the smell. I love the scent.
Yeah, it gives you some flavor as well.
Exactly. And then it takes me back to those days. I had to go to the bush to go get some of them. And the rofia, these days a rofia, I don't know where rofia passed, but somehow it's lost. Kobe has come to substitute a rofia. But the rofia has a very hard skin, very white, that sometimes you use the skin to shine your suspense. I had to be selling a rofia and angonomo. And anytime I went out to sell and I did not make sales, I was beaten.
You were beaten?
Yes. And she would beat you. Your punishment will be no dinner. You wake up in the morning, you work and go to school. The husband was the head master of Roman Catholic, Mr. Free. And so she would bring konkonte in the afternoon so that you could have something to eat. So anytime the food came in the afternoon, I'll be shaking.
Yeah.
Because the hunger would have been so bad.
Wow.
And so there was this house, this man at the Zongo. And I thank God that today my house is in the Zongo. And she had twins, Hassan and Fusena. So anytime I went and I didn't make sense, he always would buy something from me. So I'll go and stay by his house. I'll peep my head, it's a compound house. I just, Asana Papa Oho. Then they'll say, Debbie, I'll go and sit out. Now, when I come back, I'll not ask for Asana Papa, I'll ask for Fusena's daddy. So I kept changing. So they got to know that anytime I did, I wanted them to buy something. Even it was the head of the rofua, I'll cut them, they'll buy. Then, if I ate fufu and I ran out of soup, she will ask me to put water and salt.
Water and salt?
Yes.
Into the fufu?
Oh, yes. Then I had to go and sit by her. I remember having a sore, at the ankle. It's bony. So then the blood flow is not too good. So sometimes when you get sore, it gets infested. And once there was this infested sore on my leg, I was made to squeeze it, put the food in the water, tie the sore, and swallow it. And
wow.
What betides you if you don't do it? And she will put ginger, where they chew the ginger and fix where they're not supposed to fix, beat you and ask you to sit down. I went through a lot under my auntie. The emotional, physical, abuse.
So honorable. I mean, you come across as a very tough, and principled, no-nonsense person. Could your experiences, like what you're sharing with us, play a role into shaping you into the kind of person that you are now?
I think that my experiences with her only made me stronger, because as a child, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know whether that time I saw it as maltreatment. The beatings I went through, the humiliations, when sometimes I had to go with that underwear. And it was even used as a campaign message against me 2012 at the constituency. Many a times I had no shoes on. And you see, we have this culture in Ashanti, Akan, where because she's the elder sister of my mom, she couldn't say anything, she couldn't do anything. I had to stay with a sister, and I had to go through that until I left for Cuba. I think it got bad.
That's when you got your scholarship, and then you
Yes,
went
yes,
to
yes,
Cuba.
yes, 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 because it got very bad. It was bad. It got to a certain point that if mommy had not come for me, I don't think I would have been alive today. But so for me, a lot of it made me, there's nothing that a child is doing today that probably I might not have been through it. But I think a lot of it comes from my upbringing in Cuba.
Okay.
And basically, I tell people that I went to Cuba as a man, a boy, and I came back as a woman. Because when I was going, your chest is flat, your back is flat, you have no hair. And
So what happened in Cuba?
Cuba, I grew up, but I grew up in Cuba. We were, I wouldn't say young. If you say young, you may be thinking of some grown-up teenagers. We were just some little boys and girls, a little bit over 2,000 or close to 2,000, who were sent to Cuba to school. So the Cuban way, we were also trained, to be tough. We're trained to be patriotic. We're trained to be firm. We're trained to be principled. We're trained to work hard. We're trained that you are not above any kind of job. And we were trained not to be office professionals.
Yeah.
You want to punish me, put me in an office and tell me.
You learnt a lot in Cuba.
I grew up in Cuba.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, my first language is Spanish.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
I see.
Because I grew up in Cuba. I flow better in Spanish than English.
Oh, wow.
And I flow better in Spanish than Chi.
I see.
And I can write very well, read the language. I feel that is us, because we were a lot of boys and girls who were sent there without your parents. And you are supposed to be brought up by Cubans. Their culture, their food, their training, their way of life were adopted into homes. But all said and done, it was a great program.
I'm a bit curious, though, Honorable. Cuba did a lot for you, and then you became a veterinary doctor. At what point did politics come into the picture?
I was always a very active girl in school. Very active. Politics is a way of life and part of our lives. Okay. Cuba as a country was always on the verge of that tension between Cuba and the USA. Those days, the 80s, it was very high.
Yeah.
And so we were always politically alert and conscious of our surroundings and of what goes on in other countries, because a lot of African countries were also having wars and other things in their countries, and all of us were in Cuba. And so I was always a student leader.
Okay, you're a student leader.
Yes, I was girls prefect for the
SV.
Girls prefect, and then vice president of SRC, vice president of DYLG. I was in the cadet corps. I was also.
You've done it all.
I was also an excellent athlete, and I use the word excellent because I was given the title of La Princesa de Atletismo, the Princess of Athletics. I did from 800, 1,005, 3,000, 5,000, 10 kilometers, 21 kilometers. I proudly represented Ghana in all these competitions, and for 7 consecutive years,
I see.
I always had my medals, I had the trophies, I made the news, and so I was always there. And we used to go to farm also as students. So Cubans, 70% to be academic, 30% is the extra work that you do. So you
have to work very hard on
you
that.
have to work hard. You get 70% as a smart student, and probably I may get 50, or if I get even 40, and then I do very well in farm, the way I attend assemblies and all the other programs, sports, and cleanliness, how you clean, you sweep, and all that. So you're evaluated. We had somebody in charge of that. Then I get a 30%. So I either have the same marks, or I may even get more than
okay,
you.
okay.
So that is the way we're trained. So for me, whilst I was in Cuba those days, we those were interested in even paying dues towards the 31st December Women's Movement were did. So the dues were paid, and then exercise books were bought, or other things were bought, and then sent to Ghana, so that they could be sent to the daycare centers of the 31st December Women's Movement. So I've always been. It's we are not brought up as politicians,
but you've been living the life, and you've been serving.
Exactly so. So
how would you describe your political career so far? Maybe in a sentence.
A learning curve.
A learning curve.
Yes.
Okay.
Learning curve, I'll say.
Okay.
In a sentence.
All right. Now that let's come back to your current position. I mean, you're handling the women's wing of the NDC. How do you foresee your chances in 2020?
I in the first place, no one will get victory on a silver platter. Even the independence of Ghana that Osajifo led the whole country to obtain. We say it came on a silver platter because we did not see the bombings and the killings. But trust me, it did not come on a silver platter. And so there's no easy election. And nobody will hold power and say, I'm just going to cede power to you. It doesn't, no matter what happens. So I just want to put on record that 2020 is going to be a tough battleground for us.
Do you think it has a lot to do with who will be the flag bearer?
That counts a lot, who will be a flag bearer, and also the way we package our message, the way we go out there to also sell our message, to the Ghanaian public, because it's not the failures of the MPP is not automatically going to turn to the gains of the NDC, but how we put ourselves out there as a better alternative, vis-a-vis the MPP. There's going to be comparison, of what we did and what is being done now, what was promised and what is being delivered. And so these things are going to come into play. But with it all, I think that how the message is packaged, how we reach out to the people, how we carry everybody along, all these things are going to come into play. And I think that the chances of the NDC winning the elections, our chances are very high.
Okay,
and
now
we just have to work hard towards it.
We've had quite a number of very marketable people come up, with the interest of wanting to lead the NDC into the 2020 elections. In your own estimation, who do you think is the most marketable candidate?
In my own estimation, I think that, first of all those who have put themselves up, they are kings. I refer to them as kings of the NDC. They're all fantastic guys, fantastic men.
Yeah.
And so that is a level playing ground now. But if you should ask me, I would say that the former president, is the most marketable. And you don't need a third eye to say it. There are certain things that are just straightforward. There are certain things that it's just red, gold, green. There's no other thing to it. I think he has been in office. People have tried him. He did something. He's gone out of office, and people have the opportunity to compare what he said, what he was doing, and what they are being given now. And so naturally, a lot of focus will be on him. If, let's say, Hanabisu should have also gone for a form right now, you're going to compete, against such a personality, a former president.
But let me just chip in quickly. Why do you think the party is not, presenting a united front when it comes to the, your most marketable choice, John Dramani Mahama. The party doesn't seem united around him.
Why don't we? Why are we not united around him? We see we are doing a democratic process. Okay, we have to go for primaries. As a party, we've not said okay, nobody should contest, only one person should. Just as we did, it's not a presidential time, and so everybody has a right to go pick a presidential nomination form and sell your message out. Diversity of ideas, diversity of mind and choices is also good for democracy. So it doesn't mean that we are not united. We are united. President John Dramani Mahama has his supporters. I think every candidate, every person who has picked a form or has expressed interest also has some group of NDC people supporting him. So I think that fairly it's good.
Okay.
It's very healthy for our process that we are doing, but it doesn't mean that he's not marketable. If you check with all intents and purposes, it's crystal clear. So that is it. But it doesn't mean also that we're going to say, okay, no elections. President John Dramani Mahama, is going to be the one who has to be the flag bearer. No, letters of intent were invited. People sent their letters, and he also sent his own. So I think once we get to the primaries, then we will elect. I'm sure he will win. If it
you are sure he will win?
Per what?
What you foresee?
Per what I foresee.
Okay.
But if he doesn't, whoever does, we are going to unite behind who becomes our flag bearer. That's the most important thing.
Okay. Is the NDC in good standing with the founder, who you are very close to?
Why? You see, that is another question. He is a founder of the party, so if we are not
we
in
should
good
listen
standing,
to ourselves. I remember his speech at the.
What does that mean? Does that mean that when a family meets and the head of the family says, let's listen to ourselves, does that mean that you are not in good standing with the head of the family? No. Speeches were given. And so he is the funder. Somebody asked me, is he going to campaign or did he campaign? I said, how can you as a funder, who is the chairman of the Council of Elders, to be the funder when he's a funder? So I don't, for this, I've not seen him not to be in good standing with the party because
he seems to have a very good relationship with the current president, and some people feel he might be betraying the NDC by doing so. I don't know what you make of it.
Well, I see a diplomatic relationship that he has with him because I see the outer one. And the NDC, he's a founder of our political party. So, of course, people may have other thoughts. I may be talking to President Akufo-Addo today, and people may think that I may go and betray the party. Okay? But I think that the former president, he's been a president for so many years in this country, well experienced.
Okay.
And he knows what he does. And so I don't look at that area. I doubt that somebody will cut their tongue and chew the tongue. They say when you cut your tongue and chew your tongue, you're not chewing any meat. And I don't think that he'll pick his party and sell it out for what.
Okay.
I think NDC is his pride because he's a founder of the NDC.
Yeah.
And so for me, I see their relationship as such. I see him as a statesman. I see President Kufuor as a statesman.
Okay.
I can go and talk to President Kufuor because he's a statesman. As we speak, he's a former president. After him, other presidents have come. And so me talking to President Kufuor right now doesn't make me NPP or doesn't mean that I'm selling out. He may have some ideas that I want. So maybe the current president wants to pick some goodies.
Okay, let's touch on the current president. I mean, you've observed as a former minister and also a politician the performance so far. How would you rate him and his government on a scale of 0 to 100? The smile on your face about the question.
Do you think I'm the right person to rate him? Okay.
Well, I just want to pick your thoughts on that.
My thought. I'm going to be very realistic. You see, when you come to office based on certain promises that you made, campaign promises, which you believed and you were affirmative about them. In fact, you gave timelines as to what you're going to do when you were voted into office and criticize certain things with very strong beliefs. And then when you come to office, you are seen wanting, or you're found wanting, or not being able to actually fulfill your own promises, then I think it's a bad situation.
So on a scale of 0 to 100?
On the scale of 0 to 100, I'll give him 9%.
9%?
Somebody has screamed, hey, why?
One of my producers.
Okay,
Anyway.
at 0.5.
Okay, 9.5%.
No, yes, you know why? I think that if governance is about big English, if governance is about talking, if governance is about borrowing, if governance is about appointments, then I'll give him 120%.
Okay.
But governance is not. And then when he was coming to office, certain things were said. And these are not just words. They are not audios, they are videos that he's seen saying them. And now they are running away from them and trying to implement some other thing that is also not working. And nothing is happening. Basically, you come to the market, things at a standstill. He attended the education, trying to do the free education thing, which I kept saying that nobody should appropriate that because it's in the Constitution.
Okay. All right. So we'll just stick with the 9.5 that you give. Maybe the next time we'll probably do a part 2 of this interview. Maybe your perception might change a bit. But quickly though, before we wrap up, who is Sister Amma and Bra Kwame?
Sister Amma is me.
Okay.
I'm Mama Bedu.
Oh, okay.
I'm Mama Bedu.
Okay. And Bra Kwame?
Well, Bra Kwame, if the Bra Kwame of Joy FM, then it's Bra Kwame that I know. But I'm Mama Bedu. And I have a brother in Joy FM. It's called Bra Kwame.
Okay.
So.
Honorable, we are pressed for time. Unfortunately, we couldn't take off earlier than we should have. But I'm sure we'll do a part 2 on this. As we wrap up, what would you tell Ghanaians to expect from you and, of course, the NDC?
Yeah, what I would tell Ghanaians is that, first of all, we thank them as a nation. We thank them for the support that we enjoy whilst we're in office.
Yeah.
And I think whilst we're in office, we delivered. And certain things were said. And they believed in some other things and were voted out of office. All that we are asking Ghanaians today is to measure the current president or the current government based on the promises that they promised. So you check if the taxes have been making our lives easier, anything easier for us. Let's check if the education system is working. Let's check if the transportation system is working, fuel prices, the dollar exchange, the one village, one dam, the one district, one factory, all the promises that were made to us. Let's look at that, and then let's look at our livelihood today.
Okay.
And let's do the comparative analysis. And I plead that they give ears to our message, and then let's do the comparative analysis. And come 2020, we can make an informed decision when we go to the ballot.
Okay.
But I'm very, very sure that with what is happening now in the country and with what we have as a political party, we will be preferred above the current administration.
Honorable Hannah Louisa Bissell, Many thanks for joining us right here on Personality Profile. We need to do a part 2 of this. There's a lot I wanted to ask you. I definitely would do a part 2. But many thanks for joining us right here on Joy FM.
Thank you for having me.
All right. On that note, many thanks, listeners. We're going to cross quickly over to Enes Menu for the news at 8 o'clock.
And the other latest news headlines. The Northern Regional Peace Council is asking the Otunfo-led committee of eminent